Hello and welcome to Do-It-Yourself Musician. Today we're going to be back on the Otari MX55T machine. We're going to start working on this head unit. We're looking at the back of the machine right now. This is the meter bridge head unit. There are some bad switches and pots on the front of this. To access them, I think I'm going to have to basically pull the circuit boards. We're going to check all the circuit boards and all that stuff. Get access to the front panel. Switches and knobs so we can clean those. Then after that, we will get into the main power supply electronics of this, which are down in the main unit behind the transport and everything. Just look at those caps and stuff to see what condition they're in. But first of all, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna pull the circuit boards out of here. So we're gonna start. Okay, next there's this mic amp board. And then finally there's this monitor amp board that needs to come out. Let's look at that one. And here's all the cards together. It's channel 1, channel 2, the time code card. This is the mic amp, and that's the monitor amp. All right, here's a view looking inside of the meter bridge. This is the front of the unit here. This is your VU meters left and right. You see 2 pots here. That's your level, input level controls. 2 pots there. That's your output level controls. This board here has the switches on it. Over here is a pot for your headphones and speaker level output. That one was really noisy. Most of these were actually pretty noisy when I turned them and stuff. So to clean these, I'm going to be using the Deoxit DN5. How that differs from the regular D5 is this stuff dries really fast. The regular DN5, if you spray it in a pot like this, it's going to run out. It's going to run all over the shop and take forever to dry, quite honestly. So I don't really like to use that stuff unless I have the pots and things out of the unit. So I'm going to just spray some DN5 in those to clean them up. As far as the pots, the switches, I'm going to look at pulling this board out, see what kind of access I have to those. I really don't know what is all in those switches or how they're made exactly. So we'll look at doing that. So just spray a little bit of that in there and work it around. And quite honestly, these fat straws that come on these new Deoxit cans, they suck. I mean, like literally, just let's be honest. They tried to make an improvement that was not an improvement. So All right, I'll continue to clean these out. Okay, I was able to clean the main input output pots here. But in order to get to these ones over here, I think I need to try to pull this panel off. So it looks like there's a piece up here, and then maybe these 4 screws will come out. Maybe this will come down a little to give me better access. Okay, looks like there is something else holding this in. Possibly I need to take all of this stuff off actually to get this off. I was hoping it would just pop out. I did get this loose. Let me investigate this further. So I used a small metric Allen wrench to take off all the knobs on it, and taking off this knob revealed there is a little screw right there. And when we pull that screw out, hopefully the faceplate will come off. Of course, still have the XLR on this other side is still wired in, but we won't be able to get that out unless we unsolder it anyways. Okay, so there is the front panel out, which will give us a chance to look closer at these switch units. It's probably just a cap, so there might be glued on. Those are interesting little slide switches for PCB mount. And this, I need to get to this pot. I'm going to probably take this out to clean it. It turns out that this panel behind the faceplate, this actually goes over and is bent back this way and attaches to the side. This is really what's holding the whole meter bridge together, is this piece here. All right, now the next thing I want to do is remove the back of this and try to get at the power supply components and see what we got going on in there. Just check our voltages, make sure everything's good. And it looks like if I remove, there's a couple of screws hidden up under here that you can't really see. And it looks like there's a screw here and here that all need to come out to get this back off. So I'm going to pull that off. Okay. Yeah, it looks like the whole main board is attached to this. Not real sure how it's going to want to come out of there though. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's nice. They actually have little built-in hinges and everything for it. That's pretty amazing. Wow. That's pretty sweet. So yeah, you can always see your motors, main circuit board, power supply looks like mostly here, control, Then you have a bunch of voltage regulators and stuff on the back half. Fuse section up here under this printed cover. Just wanted to get you a shot of the inside of that back panel here with all these voltage regulators and whatnot. Big power resistor here. It's very, very interesting. Mostly we're going to be interested in checking out these caps and things hiding under here, seeing what their condition is. Just make sure that we have nice, good power on this. Looking at this closer to get access to these caps, it's really cool the way they built this. This is obviously built for servicing. This is back in the day, of course, when stuff like that mattered. Like anybody that built anything built it to be fixable, not just junk like nowadays. But you just take out, there's a screw here. Nope, can't see that. There's a screw over here. There's one midway here, and there's another right over here. And actually, a couple of these, the standoffs were loose because it's basically a screw through a standoff through the PCB, and the standoff is screwed to the back of the unit with another screw. A couple of those are missing though, because obviously somebody's been in here tinkering around in the past. I mean, but we know that that's that's just a fact. But when you remove those, this is super cool. This just, the motherboard here just lifts up. It's like it's these little plastic hinges that it's on. There's another, on each side. So this thing just lifts up like this so you can get under here and service it. And interesting, there's this little board here, which I'm not entirely sure what that is. The way it's in here, I imagine this is some bodge board or something. I don't know. It's very strange. But anyway, we're just looking for the caps, which now we have easy access to be able to check those caps. Okay, so we're set up here to check the ESR on these power caps on the main board here. And as I've pointed out before in some of my videos, that capacitors can be a big problem in electronics, but in these higher quality electronics, often they're not. You just can't find any bad capacitors in them. Of course, there's the debate about, do I need to change them or not? Because at some point they're gonna reach the end of their life, and you might as well change them. You could argue if they're getting a bit high in ESR. They could also be leaky at voltage too, at higher voltage, which the ESR meter won't tell you that. But I'm going to show you, like, I think this machine was made in 1990, what these caps read. And these are all high value. They're 4700 and up. I think the big one down here is a 6800. And so it would have to read over like 0.1 on this meter to be anywhere near bad. So now you can see the meter better here, and you can see that down on this line here is caps that are greater than 500 microfarads, which all of these are. These are, I think, 4700. The big one down here is 6800. All these are way more than 500 microfarads. So let me just try to test this and see what we got. So that's like 0.04. These are not easy to get on. 0.04. 0.045. 0.06. Then this big dude down here, 0.04. So all those caps are fine. They're better than specification. Just about. Those are probably haven't moved since the day they were put in. I'm going to go through here and check a few others, just kind of shotgun it down through here, just to be sure that nothing's gone wrong. But like I said, probably not. Okay, I've got the board assembled back in here. I'm going to need to get some hardware to make sure these other two parts of the board are securely screwed down. I checked all the fuses up here. The fuses up in this box are all good, of course. That's the transformers mounted right here, and this is where all the taps come out. Check those voltages; they're all good, but we know that the machine runs. Nothing seems abnormal. So the last thing I kind of wanted to do here is there's that broken LED on the front panel, or that front panel control strip, which is in the front, and I've got it loose already. I just didn't want to pull it too hard without being able to see what the cables down in here were doing. But I can kind of see those now that I got this open, so I'm going to try to pull that out and see if I can get to where that LED is, because we're going to have to pull that out and replace the broken one. Okay, that broken LED is right there, and this panel comes out. I've already got them loose. There's also this little piece here. I'm not actually real sure how to get these out of here. I might have to tilt the machine another way. Okay, well that just came loose. Something hanging right here. Okay, because this is the main power switch for the machine, so I don't know if I can pull those as spade connectors or what's going on here really. I'm gonna have to remove this from the machine though to work on it. But yeah, this is stopping me here. Some spade connectors on this maybe. Let me investigate further on this power button here and see if I can get these off here. Well, these other connectors will probably pop off easily enough, and just to get this thing out of here. Okay, with a little coaxing that came out, you got a connector here that has these kind of, squeeze lock thing. This one's one of those sort of tab lock jobbies. And then you have these ones here that just press in. I really wish they would use the same connectors. Oh yeah, on the power button, you've got two spade terminals, and on the bottom, two screw terminals. It's not very obvious when you go to take it apart, but it did come out. Here's that broken red square LED right here. We get access to it now where we can suck that out of there and get that replaced. Okay, here is the button panel with the broken red LED right there for the record LED. It looks like to remove this PCB that we just need to take off a couple of screws here. Actually, before I do that though, I'm gonna go ahead and desolder this because it's all nice and held in place. So I've got my desoldering gun here. I'm just gonna wet the tip a bit, clean her up. Well, let's go ahead and desolder this guy. And even with the desoldering gun, you might have to kind of crack these loose. Yeah, it's loose now. Okay. So I'll pull these screws out of here. Okay, there's our board, and here's our red LED with the standoff. It just slides right out. And as you can see here, it's broken off. So this is a 5 millimeter square or rectangle LED, and I'll have to order one. I don't actually have one in stock right now, but I'll order one up and replace it. You'll have no idea due to the magic of editing. And let's go ahead and replace this. Okay, I've got the new rectangular LED installed. I was able to buy some off of eBay. As you can see here, these are red rectangular LEDs. Here's one a little closer. These are 2 by 5 millimeter is what they measured. They were sold as a diffuse LED, but as you'll see if I turn this on, it's not quite as diffuse as these other ones. Plus it was brighter. You can see there, looking, let me turn this other one on. You can see how it compares to the green right there. It's pretty close. It's a bit brighter and less diffuse. I did have to add a resistor to this, a current limiting resistor. I believe there was a 1K current limiting resistor in there, and I had to put a 6.8K in just to knock it down to this level. And as you can see, like I said, compared to this green, it's a little less diffuse. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use a little fine grit sandpaper and go over that and just try to make it look a little bit more like these other ones. And since I've already got this installed, I don't want to take the whole thing back apart just to sand that LED, so I'm going to put some tape around it and just try to do it right here on the machine. I think it'll be okay. I'm just using this 1500 grit 3M sandpaper. I've already done a little test one there. 1500 may not, it may be too much. I might have to go down a bit. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with an even stronger grit than 1500. I think 1500 is not enough. Okay, so off camera, I roughed it up a little more to try to make it match the other ones. It's pretty good. Let me apply power again here and show you what it does. It tamed it a bit. It's not exactly in line with what the other ones are, but looking at it here in person, it's not bad. I think I'll just go with that. All right, I just wanted to give you guys a shot of that resistor I replaced on the main board. That blue one there, obviously. Amongst all those 1K resistor, that is a 5.6K that I changed it to. I think I said 6.8K earlier, but it was a 5.6K because that gave me like half a milliamp of current, I think is what I reduced it to get the LED to be anywhere near the other ones in brightness. But that's all good. So I just whipped that baby in there, and everything seems to be working fine now with this. So let me close it up and we'll find out where we are. So I just need to put 4 screws back in to close this up. I also should mention that I got screws for the stand on this thing. If you remember in one of the other parts, I was saying that one of the reels was hitting the stand on one side. I was able to actually get this thing aligned back up to where the reels are clearing both sides now perfectly. So I just really need to close this up. I need to put the front skin back on, as well as the bezel around the heads, the head cover, put the cover back on the meter bridge, and then I think at that point we're ready to align this thing. Okay, I guess there's nothing left to do really but reassemble this guy. I'm going to start by carefully taking off this pinch roller cap. And be careful of there's a little washer on top of that thing that you don't want to lose. There's also one below that I showed earlier. Make sure that's there. And the skin should just pop back on. Line up like so. Then there's this lower plate piece here. It goes in like so. Okay. And this I noticed still has the Phillips head screws in it. I'm going to pull those out, and we're going to do all these with the cap head Allen screws like I showed previously. It'll be cap head Allen screws with washers underneath. I'm actually going to pull this up just a bit and make sure these are all seated properly. Okay. Just a pro tip about putting the skin back on. When you put it back on, make sure you have a relatively even coverage around both of the tables here. If not, the skin can bump into them and stop their movement. So you want to make sure you got good sort of even coverage around, a good even gap is what I'm saying around those. Okay, just to show you here, sorry if it's a bit overexposed with the lighting conditions. That's what we're using. It's a 3x6 2mm Allen cap head screw with a little I don't know, plastic washer there. So hopefully you can see that. First, let me put the capstan roller back on. And there she is, all back together. At least transport all checked out and back together. There still is one other thing I want to show you here. Okay, literally the last thing I need to do is put the cover back on the meter bridge of this machine. But if you can see here, there are scratches in the upper surface. The lid has a scratch as well on it. And I'm thinking that what I want to do is maybe try to get some touch-up paint from an auto body place. I could take one of these panels down and get it matched. Maybe get a spray can, aerosol, if I can. If anybody has any tips on this, I mean, I don't know if this might be too big to do with like a touch-up pen. So I was thinking some type of aerosol, or get one of those little sprayers that Home Depot has, and just try to do these 3 pieces. So I'm going to wait on that. That'll probably be the final video on this. But we need to access this anyways to do an alignment on it. And also, I should also mention too that on the inside of this cover here, these foam pads, they're seriously deteriorating, so I need to figure something out for that too, because that junk's just getting everywhere. So I don't really want to put this on just yet, but you know, you can see there, if you look there, you can see it has the VRs listed for along here to do the alignment on it. So I think that we'll conclude this video here, and in the next video we'll actually get into aligning this thing and using it, and hopefully there's nothing wrong with it. All right, thanks for watching.